Hi everyone, this is the SecurityHQ Underground podcast. Today's the 20th of December. My name's Aaron, I'm the Regional Director for Middle East Africa, and I'm actually joined today for his debut appearance by Feras, CEO of SecurityHQ. So welcome, Feras.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Debut performance.
Debut performance. Joining us from New York today as well, right?
I am.
Yeah, fantastic. So Feras has been with us all this week in our Dubai SOC. So Feras, obviously, look, it's always brilliant to have you here. Mm-hmm. Before we maybe dive in a little bit to what we're going to be discussing, do you want to maybe just open up a little bit and tell us obviously what you've been here for? Obviously coming towards the end of Q4, just let listeners know what it is you're doing. Obviously travelling around, obviously all the different SecurityHQ offices.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be here, back home, as I would say.
Yeah.
But I did 17 years here in Dubai, but obviously now living in New York. It's the end of the year. It's Q4. I like to go around all the offices, all the regions, not only just to see the team and wish them the best, and obviously finish off as a business. The end of the year is our end of year financially as well, so we have to oversee that, close off any accounts, and also gain a bunch more customers and talk to them. But more importantly is taking the opportunity to talk to customers.
Yeah.
Because with the festive period coming on, people always reflect on it at the end of the year, as in where are we, what are we doing, what are we planning for next year, what would I like my cybersecurity team to work on for next year. I have this person leaving, I have this new person coming in. It's a dynamic environment.
It
always is.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful time to chat to CISOs, see where they're at, listen to some gripes, but more, as always, just more positivity, which is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And it's no different whether in New York, Johannesburg, Australia, here in Dubai. It's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
No, and we've you mentioned around going to see the customers and things. It's been brilliant because we've had a busy week. We've been busy week. We've been out and about saying obviously happy holidays and happy New Year to all the customers we've got here. Mm-hmm. And obviously we've been getting great feedback and some really good kind of innovation strategies for next year as well. So what's kind of, I guess, been for you, especially in this region, because obviously every region has its own kind of feedback mechanisms and ideas. From your perspective, maybe you can give us maybe more of a global wrap up, if you like, rather than just what you've had here. What's been the most consistent theme you're hearing from what customers are looking for, or maybe what they've been after in general?
I think it's very easy. As cybersecurity experts, as SecurityHQ, obviously, this is what we do. This is how we apply our trade. But it's not always what a CISO wants, believe it or not. So when you're chatting to CISOs or leaders of your clients that are fundamentally there to protect their network and protect their assets, their IP, or whatever they're trying to protect, they actually quite look at things quite differently. And I think this year specifically, there's been a huge emphasis on looking for consistency and simplicity, because what we deal in is pretty complex, right? Especially when you're dealing with an incident like you do, Aaron, sometimes, or whatever it is. It's a complex environment we're working in. But the CISOs and the customers are always looking for more simplicity. What does that mean? Explain to me the risk, explain to me why, and they're looking for that consistency of the message all the time. I think they get very frustrated with providers out there who one week are saying one thing, the next week saying something else. And I think I heard the term actually only today. It's increment changes is what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Constant increment changes. They want to see the consistency of the change, but not massive change. They don't like massive change. They want to see consistency, because like going to the gym, everybody should go to the gym. We all know that. I'm not saying I go to the gym, but there you go. Everybody should go to the gym, but you should be going 3 or 4 times a week if you can. That is the best way of doing it. It's no different if you're running a network. Getting that consistency. I would say I heard a lot of that this year.
Okay. So I think, because increment changes on the surface might not seem a lot, but compounded over the course of the year,
massive. Those
increments actually result in big differences, right? And I think that's one of the key things that we have a lot of, especially in this region. We're not looking for big bang results. We're looking to growing maturity, in improving posture, and you can't do those big bang changes overnight. It takes time. Incrementing is one I would definitely say that we've had a lot of feedback on, and I think around the simplicity, that is born out of because a lot of, I think historically, incidents have been very kind of low level right? A lot of verbose kind of log data has been there. I think what we've been able to do quite well, to be honest, like really well, is make it extremely simple, give those simple recommendations, mitigations, and the analysis in almost bite-sized content that even a CISO can grab hold of it and say, okay, I know exactly what my team need to do, right? Yes, it's been really interesting on that side. I think, look, from my perspective as well, what is it you would say that we're going to be focusing on maybe?
It's again, that's actually a really easy answer for us. We're going to be launching in the first quarter a new revamped SecurityHQ Response. SHQ Response is what it's called, and that's going to be our platform going forward. We have seen it. We're launching it with existing customers. They're starting to see it and get a flavor, and the feedback's been incredible. And we think it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, agreed.
So I hope so. I certainly hope so. But again, that goes back to the increment change, the visualization of taking a highly complex incident or a highly complex, when you see an alarm, right? There's no point looking at one alarm. You've got to look at the chain of them. Yeah. The whole context of it to actually understand, well, hold on, what's going on here? Again, visualizing that with SHQ Response, then putting a risk score against it that's measured against NIST, then adding a MITRE ATT&CK framework on the incident playbook. I don't want to give away too much, but you can see where this is going. And this is going to be a major change that's going to separate SecurityHQ even further from its competitors. So on that side, it's good business. But actually, it's just about making customers, our clients, feel they're protected, knowing that we're listening to them and seeing us making those increment changes. I'm going to touch on that though again. One thing I'm glad to see, which we used to battle with a few years ago, customers looking for that magic bullet. They know it's not there.
Yeah, the silver bullet doesn't exist, everyone.
It still does. It doesn't exist. It's like trying to find a mermaid. Yeah. Frankly, it would be quite terrifying if you did. But it's not that. It's multiple different changes, consistency of change, but consistency of change also, I should also say, in different areas, not just in one area. Whether it's your vulnerability management, whether it's your testing capability, whether it's your MDR or your SOC services, your incident response, your quality of your team even, your quality of your compliance and governance. It's actually, you've got to move all of them a little bit all the time. Yeah. That's what CISOs are telling me. That is what, when I speak to CISOs, they're telling me, and it's not what vendors push, like generative AI. They throw that at you, right? We get thrown that all the time. Yes. Generative AI, it's going to change everything. How's it going to change? I have no idea. Yeah.
But we know.
But we know, exactly. The answer is, actually on that one, I personally think it's just another tool. Yeah. It'll make things a lot simpler. Yeah. And since I'm going on about that, I'm looking forward, I predict soon the perpetrators will start using it because...
Well, yeah, we already know they are,
yeah. Have you seen any of it already?
Yeah, I think we've obviously, it's been a busy year in regards to ChatGPT and OpenAI and everything, and there was a lot of, focus on how that can be used to craft specific things like code snippets or phishing emails or whatever else. Yeah. And we know that it is being used in active campaigns to ultimately streamline or enhance the efficiency of an attack in general. So it unfortunately, it will be part and parcel of a toolkit for an adversary, just like we would introduce it into our armory to help speed response or to enrich instant data, right? We would look to use that type of technology to aid our defense and our speed response, just like an adversary would use it to aid their their efficiency in attacks, really, and to do things that maybe they wouldn't have the skill to craft by themselves. Yeah. It's just part and parcel of it. And I think maybe one of the most interesting points, just as we wrap up maybe this episode, that's come out this week when we talk about adversaries and everything else, and I'll just kind of throw this in towards the end, has been obviously as you know, because we talk about ransomware a lot internally with customers, and obviously we do global threat forecast webinars and everything else. We've spoken a lot, especially you and I done the global threat forecast webinar 2022 last year, That's on our website if you want to go and check that out. And we'll be doing another one on the 18th of January 2024. But one of the most prolific ransomware as a service groups, a group known as BlackCat or ALV. Just yesterday, in fact, FBI released an unsealed warrant, basically naming a disruption campaign against this ransomware service group. They have publicly disclosed, it's the FBI I'm talking about, that they have obtained via a confidential source 900 public-private key pairs from one of the data centers that BlackCat or Alfie use, and that has basically resulted in the FBI being able to notify, I think, up to 400 victims. That the FBI have now created a decryption tool for them, and it was like somewhere in the region of about, I think it was like $68 million worth of ransomware payments that now Alpha/BlackCat aren't going to get, because FBI have now created this decryption tool with the information they've received. So that's been really interesting. I think it was a crazy amount.
I think one of the interesting thing is, I mean, I know from engineer side, we find that fascinating.
Yeah,
right?
we really
these
do.
Groups, we love tracking these groups, and though they do a lot of damage. Right? Let's never forget that. But we like to understand our adversaries and see their mythology. But the good news is to see law enforcement
really coming down on these guys.
starting to make traction.
Agreed.
Right? Because for years nothing happened to these guys. Nothing. They just got away with absolute murder. So that's good in that sense. It's good press to come and see it.
It really is.
But then you get reminded from the MGM thing,
where
the most simplest thing, somebody calls up through a LinkedIn profile, spoofed it, pretended, and somebody that helped us gave the password.
I know.
I mean, so it's a classic thing, right? It's a classic thing. Like, you have the most sophisticated, whatever it is, ransomware being deployed, and then it's always the simplicity that gets you undone. Always gets you the simplicity. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, ransomware as a service, go research that subject. If you go research that, you'll get a mind bend on where we are on the side.
Honestly, and we've done a lot of content on it in various blogs or webinars, whatever else, and white papers. I think the most fascinating point about this is that they are, BlackCat are the second biggest, or the second most prolific ransomware group to have existed, really. Ransomware as a service group to have existed. Hundreds of millions in ransomware payments they've claimed. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they bounce back from that.
But we know they will.
We know they will, because they've got way too many resources not to. They haven't been arrested. It's purely a disruption campaign from the FBI. And we will definitely cover more on this topic, and we'll talk about Lockbit and various other ransomware service groups, like we always do year after year, on that webinar on the 18th of Jan. But that's what we've been focusing on this week with most of our intelligence team, which we have globally, and we've kind of been watching that unravel. So I think we can end it there, and really choose this opportunity to say, Merry Christmas. I know you're going to be flying off and enjoying the holidays. Likewise, I will as well. So thank you very much to our listeners for tuning again to this episode of SecurityHQ Underground. Please keep enjoying the episodes as they come out. We will be doing, like I mentioned, the Global Threat Forecast webinar on the 18th of January. We'll do a full wrap up of the year, and also what we're forecasting, from a threat perspective in 2024. So thank you very much, Feras, and can't wait to have you back on the next one. And it'll be your second episode. So looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.